What's new this year is our device as a service or device as a subscription program.
Engaging our industry stakeholders to inform the U.S. federal government on today's most innovative IT solutions. NITAAC proudly presents Solution Showcase. Welcome to the SYNNEX Red, White, and You conference here in beautiful Austin, Texas, here at the JW Marriott downtown, and I'm here with Buttery, the Senior Vice President of Financial Operations. Alan, thanks for stopping by.
Oh, you're welcome. Glad to do it.
We're always seeking to inform the federal audience about those kinds of innovative solutions, and your team is working on something brand new for the federal market that has been awarded on the CS contract previously, but very curious, what are you bringing to market this year?
So what's new this year is our device as a service or device as a subscription program. We're offering that to our resellers in the federal channel, and to be able to bring that to ultimately the federal government agencies. Device as a subscription really the idea is to take what would normally be a capital asset purchase and to be able to purchase that on a monthly payment as a subscription without having to put that on the balance sheet, have the normal expenses that go along with that, and to be able to provide just really a low monthly payment for your procurement needs.
Sounds very simple,
right?
But in practice, where are you seeing this get traction? You mentioned earlier the commercial environment, but perhaps in federal, we haven't seen the take-up quite yet. What's the impediment there?
So we haven't seen the take-up just yet. I think in the commercial space, the adoption has been much faster because people are much more used in the consumer space to subscription-type models, whether it's through their online streaming or various services they have in their home, or other types of financing vehicles where they just continue to make a monthly payment. In the federal procurement space, what we've seen historically is that everything's purchased as a large buy or a large deal or as a capital asset. Sometimes that's, we talked earlier about that being by the spoonful. It may be very small, but it's still a capital purchase. Well, what we'd like to see and what our customers would like to be able to provide is to be able to take a large pool of assets, be able to procure those, sell those into the federal government space, and do that on a subscription-based model. So you would take, just to give you a very simplistic example from the consumer space, an $899 device might go out on a 3-year subscription at $27 a month. So very low payment, very low monthly cost, and at the end you've got a built-in refresh cycle. You can pull those assets, put new ones in, whatever the end customer or the government would like to do.
The complexity of these solutions, though, is increasing too. It's not just the device. Talk to me about the breadth of the technology.
Right. So from a technology standpoint, a lot of things are being procured different ways, right? So for example, your office programs, are frequently now procured through the cloud. People don't buy the box software anymore and own that asset, right? What happens is most frequently, using Microsoft as an example with Office 365, in your home you may have a subscription that's cloud-based or internet-based for that. In the office, in the business or federal government office environment, you can also procure those types of solutions through a cloud or a web browser now in that type of environment. So you buy things that way. Now you would wrap in a solution, you might wrap Office around that, Microsoft Exchange. In a server environment, it might be Microsoft Azure. And then you also have the device. You may have a server incorporated with that. And then you would also have, different types of managed and professional services. So examples of that, would include your warranties, things like accidental damage protection and various types of warranty, whether it's, on-site or depot or the different types of things that can be done. It also includes things like managed services. So you've got things like, asset tracking. Where are those assets located? Can you monitor the up and down status? And of course you can. Patching those devices remotely without having to bring them into a site or, for maintenance and things like that.
You also mentioned that you're helping organizations deal with the uncertainty of scale, how many devices they may need, both increase and decreases
That's
in,
right.
in demand.
Yeah, and that's really something that's very unique to our solution. What others have done in the past was that they had, you bought on a financing vehicle, maybe it was a lease, maybe it was something like that, and what you had to do is if you wanted to make any changes was basically buy out that contract. Well, in our solution, you've got some parameters in which you can actually scale down. So to use a simplistic example, if you have 100 units in the field and you find that you don't need 20 of those, we'll allow you to scale down 20% of the units that are deployed with no penalties. Just recalculate the payment on the remaining units, but no penalties for bringing that back, no changes to the contract. You don't have to buy out the contract. We'll cancel the services that are related to those devices, and just allow the customer to come out of that if they need to make those changes. And of course also the other side of this is it's very easy to add. So you can add new devices, add additional devices of the same, add additional services, all simply through a one-page document.
And part of the partnership with NITAAC is the exploration of economies of scale across agencies.
Right, absolutely. So what we would like to be able to do is help our customer get those economies of scale. So using that spoonful example again, you don't get the same pricing advantages through the supply chain, by the spoonful. So all the way from the manufacturer, the OEM, through the distributor, the reseller, into the agency, if you're buying in small bites, then you're going to get one price. If you're buying in large quantity, or if you're using NITAAC to be able to aggregate the purchasing, to get the benefit of the economies of scale, it's a very different price model. If you're buying 100 units versus you're buying 1,000 or 10,000 or 100,000 units, depending on how you want to aggregate. So those things matter a lot, and I think the advantage for the federal government end user is that scale really will drive economies in your purchasing.
Thank you so much for stopping by and sharing the financial aspects of the value that SYNNEX brings to the federal market.
Oh, you're welcome.
Alan.
It's been my pleasure.
Alan Buttery of SYNNEX Corporation from Red, White, and You in Austin, Texas this week.